Hi there reception, year 1, year 2, it's me, Mr. A, back with story time for another day, and I'm going to read you something a bit different now. I'm going to do something over 3 parts, so it's a bit of a longer book called The Wind in the Willows, which you might know the story of, and I'm going to read it. It comes in 3 chapters, so I'll read you a chapter each day. Yeah, and that should take us up to the weekend. So I thought you'd enjoy this one, but it's a bit too long to squeeze into one session. So, of course, the original was written by Kenneth Graham, and this is an adapted version of it by Desmond Marwood. Right, so here's part 1, which is called The Riverbank. Right, and what I'll do is I'll stick some pictures up in the by the miracle of technology, probably up in this corner, so you can see what's going on. The Riverbank. Mole had never seen a river before. So, when he met Water Rat, he was excited to learn all about life on the water and those who lived on the riverbanks. Rat showed Mole around his riverside home. It was built into the riverbank, just above the water level. Rat's little blue rowing boat was tied up to the landing stage, just outside the front door. It was so warm and sunny that the new friends decided to spend the day exploring the river. Rat packed a picnic hamper full of nice things to eat and drink. "I'll be able to show you so many things to do with our life on the river," he told Mole, as he helped him into the boat. They floated gently down the river. From time to time, Rat stopped rowing to point out special things to Mole. It was a great big exciting new world for Mole. In the water he could see fishes swimming beneath the boat. He had never even seen fishes. On the riverbanks were all sorts of small creatures and birds. Many of them were so different from those he had met in the grassy fields above his own home, which was beneath the ground. "What's that place?" asked Mole, pointing to a dark and dismal woodland, with huge branches reaching out over the water's edge. "Ah, that's the Wild Wood," Rat told him. "We don't go in there unless we really have to, and I'd advise you to keep away also. Most of those who live there are not very friendly, especially to strangers." The 2 friends found a good place for their picnic, and Rat rowed the boat towards the riverbank. No sooner were they settled down and set to eat than Otter popped out of the water and onto the riverbank beside them. Then came a rustle from the bushes, and Badger appeared. Being a very polite fellow, he turned immediately and disappeared. He said he was sorry to have barged in. He didn't know Ratty had visitors, or company as he called them. Rat asked Otter who else he'd seen on the river that day. "Only old Toad rowing along in his boat," replied Otter, "or I should say trying to row," he added, and they both laughed. They knew that mucking about in boats was the latest thing Toad had started to do. "Toad's always got a new craze to do something or other," Rat told Mole, who hadn't heard anything about the famous Mr. Toad until that very moment. "The last craze he had was to live on a houseboat. That didn't last long. Dear old Toad soon missed the comfort of his own home," added Rat. "Does Toad live on the riverbank?" asked Mole. "Oh yes," Rat told Mole, "but his riverside home is a little bit more posh than my riverside home. Toad's home is called Toad Hall, and it is one of the best houses in the district. I'll take you there one day." Just then Toad came into sight, moving along the river in his rowing boat. The oars waggled all over the place, and his feet kicked in the air as he and his boat wobbled away into the distance. "Good day," called out Rat. "What a beautiful day to be out on the river." But Toad was so frantically busy trying to row his boat that he didn't hear him, let alone see Rat waving to him from the riverbank. "Boats won't be old Toad's craze for very much longer if he can't row better than that," laughed Rat. "He does like to be able to do things properly so he can show off to everyone else." Rat looked round to see Otter had already popped back into the river just as quickly as he'd first popped out. Rat and Mole finished off their picnic, cleared everything neatly away and set off for home. It was on the way that Mole suddenly wanted to try and row the boat, but Rat didn't think that was such a good idea. "Hey, be careful or you'll have us overboard," cried Rat, as Mole tried to grab the oars. Rat tumbled backwards off his seat into the bottom of the boat. Mole could not get hold of his oars properly, and he fell forwards on top of Rat, and splash! Over he went into the water. Rat was a good swimmer. He pulled Mole to the safety of the riverbank, as well as the oars and the picnic basket, which were all in danger of floating away. Rat scooped the water out of the boat and made everything tidy for them to continue their journey back home. While he did this, Rat made sure Mole went jogging up and down the riverbank to help get him dry. Poor old Mole, he was so sorry that he'd started all their troubles in the first place by trying to grab the oars from Rat. "I don't know what came over me, really I don't," he moaned. Oh, please do forgive me," he pleaded with Rat. Of course Rat did forgive Mole, but made him promise never to do anything like that again, and always to first learn the proper way to do things. "Rowing a boat can be a tricky thing until you know how to do it properly," Rat told Mole. "It's just one of the things you learn how to do if you live on the river." Mole began to feel much happier when Rat promised that one day he would teach him how to row a boat. When they got back home, Rat made Mole dry out properly in front of a warm fire. They ate a good supper, and Rat invited Mole to stay the night so that he could have a good night's sleep after his first very busy day on the river. Mole was soon fast asleep and dreaming of what had, for him, been a day of great adventure. He had seen so many new things, enjoyed a delicious picnic, and had taken his first ever ride in a boat. Also, he had met new friends. Most important, though, was meeting Water Rat, who would turn out to be his greatest friend of all. Alright, that's the end of chapter 1. So we'll leave that for today. That's The Wind in the Willows by Kenneth Grahame, and we'll carry that on tomorrow, so I shall see you then. Meantime, have a great day. Goodbye now.